Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our FAMJAM family night. My name is Larissa. I am a Blue Coat with Science North, and joining me here is Dr. Reich. We might be switching some camera angles a little bit like very shortly, or maybe not. We'll see. But welcome to our trivia night on vaccines. So Dr. Dennis Reich has described himself as a father of 3 fully vaccinated children and a general practitioner here in Sudbury. Is there anything else you would like to add, Dr. Reich?
Very excited to be here with you, Larissa, and excited for the wonderful trivia night you've got planned, and maybe I'll learn something new as well. And I've got a 12-year-old that's just ready to get his booster shot as well, because that's
awesome. All right. So the reason why we're doing this is that Science North received some funding from the Public Health Agency of Canada to help increase confidence in vaccines. And so this event is part of our campaign that's called Give Vaccines a Shot. And tonight's trivia is to help you learn about the COVID vaccine, especially for children aged 5 to 11, and hopefully make you feel more confident about the decision to vaccinate your children. Oops, and I was supposed to share the, actually you're not seeing my presentation anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Bennett to share my presentation on screen. And you're going to see what we're going to be using today is we're using Mentimeter. So Mentimeter is similar to Kahoot. You need a second device to use this. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to www.menti.com and enter the code that's on the screen, or you can also scan the QR code that is here. And another thing to note is that Mentimeter is anonymous, so it'll give you the opportunity to put a name in there. If you want to put your actual name in there, you can. It'll give you an avatar. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to award a prize to the winner of this trivia. And at the end of the game, I will explain it at the end of the game as well. But if you happen to be the winner of this game, you just need to take a screenshot of the notification on your phone that says that you have won. And we have our email address in the description. It is vaccines@sciencenorth.ca. So you can send your winning screenshot to that email address and just let us know if you're interested in getting Science North swag or tickets to come to our center. Now, before we start, I would like to acknowledge that we are presenting from Sudbury, which is on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Atitmishing, Anishinaabeg, and Wahnapitae First Nation. We would also like to acknowledge the Métis Nation for their cultural and economic contributions in this area. These lands sit in the Robinson-Huron Treaty area. And as we are all treaty people, it is important for us to reflect on the treaty area in which we are and of which we are an active part. So please take a moment to appreciate the land where you are located by acknowledging its traditional territory and treaty area. So I see we've got a few people that have signed up. I'm just going to let you know that if you notice at the top of the screen that you're watching right now, you will see that it has the number code for you to enter into the trivia. And as we go through the slides with the questions on it, you will also continue to see the number code, so you can join in at any time. The other thing that I would like to point out is that we are broadcasting on YouTube, and there's a little bit of a lag between the way the game is running and how I'm presenting and what you're seeing on YouTube. So we've created sort of placeholder slides ahead of time, which are not the actual question, but they're kind of like an opportunity for us to read the question, and then we'll get into the actual question. The points are awarded if you answer more quickly than other people, and if you answer correctly. And so there are multiple choices. Some of them are choices between 2, like a true or false or a yes or no, and then the other ones are choices between 4 options. We are going to start off with a few questions that are not part of the quiz, but just to get a little bit of information. So this first question here, where are you from? It says pin as close as possible, because we don't know. You might be joining from outside of Ontario, and it wasn't possible for me to put a map of Canada on here with us being able to see this. But if you can use your finger to indicate on the map where you are, and you can tell us where you're joining from, and we will get a chance to see where we have people. So it looks like a lot of people are joining from Sudbury, but we have somebody who indicated that they're joining from Thunder Bay, north of Sudbury, a couple of people in Ottawa, some people along the corridor between Sudbury and Ottawa. Wow, this is great. We've got a couple of people joining from Toronto, some people further west.
Are we allowed to win too?
Are you playing, Dr. Reich?
No, I'm just teasing.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we had to tell the public health and Sudbury District employees that they weren't allowed to play because they helped us write the quiz, and they kind of have.
It's really important. I said that people know that the quicker you answer, it matters, because like if lots of people get them right, if you answer, and I think we're allowed parents to help, right, Larissa?
Yes, for sure. So if parents are going to help their kids, I think that's a great idea. Or you can work on it as a family, or if you want to compete within the family, I think that's a great idea too, to see who's the smartest person in the family, like that, who knows all the answers to the questions. I think that is a great idea as well too.
Good.
All right. I have no idea. I mean, I'm kind of looking here. I've got like 20 in Sudbury, and then I'm looking at some things here. I'm wondering if I've got, we still have people voting here. We've had 38 people vote. I can't remember how many people actually signed up for the trivia. So I don't know if we've had everybody vote, but we're going to move to the next question. So the next question here, we still got people voting. This is awesome. The next question is, so the Olympics just started this week, Winter Olympics. What I'm asking now is, what is your favorite Olympic sport? And I thought that I was going to be able to like guess like the that snow cross thing, because I thought that was an Olympic sport, when they're skating and they're doing like up and I thought that was an Olympic sport. Apparently it's not.
It's not. There's a number of things I think should be sports, but they're not. It's really odd.
Yeah. So I looked it up and I found out that they're actually not that many. Most of the Olympic sports for winter are like going down something really fast with equipment, right? Like bobsledding or luging or the skeleton, which I think is just crazy because you're going head first on your belly down a.
And I heard the Jamaican bobsled team has another team in there again this year.
Yes, and so my family is from Trinidad. Trinidad has a 2-man bobsled team this year, and apparently it's the first time since in 2 years 20 years, that they've had a team. So Caribbean countries are joining the Winter Olympic sports again. And so you'll see it looks like snowboarding and hockey are like the front runners here because they're the bigger words. So this is how it works with this word wall. If you put the answer more often, it gets bigger, and so the people who like the hockey the most means that hockey is very popular. So is snowboarding.
Got it.
Awesome. All right. So I tried this out earlier, and what's going to happen is we're actually, after this slide is going to be our first question. It's not going to be the actual question. So as I mentioned before, we have these sort of placeholder slides that are going to tell you what the next question is going to be. And then I'm going to hit the advance button. And then when I hit enter, you'll see a little dial that'll give you 5 seconds to read the question. And then you'll have a timer that'll give you a chance to answer the question. And we'll kind of help you out. We're going to read out the questions and the answers for you. But most of them the answers are fairly short. So hopefully we will be able to do this. Look at that.
Larissa, I'll be back in a second.
Okay. All right. So I think Dr. Reich is now trying to get on with his computer, which decided to update. Bruce likes winter horseback riding. I don't think winter horseback riding is an Olympic sport. Awesome. So you're on your computer.
I am back where I belong.
Great. All right. So I am going to advance to the next slide, and just letting everyone know this is going to be the question for our first question. All right. So our first question is going to be, what does COVID-19 stand for?
What do people think?
And so this is only going to happen at this one time because this is the beginning of our quiz. We're going to see everybody join. All right.
That's some cool little icons there. I like the spy.
Pretty neat icons going here.
There's a puppy dog and little alligator. Oh, I like the unicorn. Unicorn's cool.
I don't see the unicorn. Oh, there's the unicorn and the dragon. I like the dragon as well too.
Yeah.
And the alien. I wonder if like people sort of didn't get a choice because other people ended up joining first, and so then they.
Yeah, maybe, right? Yeah, I don't know if it's random or not.
All right, I'm going to hit the enter, and we are going to start this quiz.
Awesome. People can still join though. Just go to the top.
Yes, they can still join.
Tell your friends. Send them.
All right. What does COVID-19 stand for? So what do we think? Look at your phone. There's some answers there. So do we think it stands for coronavirus sickness 2019, coronavirus disaster 2019, coronavirus disease 2019, or it's just random letters? What do you think?
Like a word jumble or something.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling that the people that named this probably had like a plan in place.
Something in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look and see what people. And almost everybody voted for the correct answer. Awesome. So it stands for coronavirus disease 2019. So the CO is the corona, and the VI is the virus, and the D is the disease. And it was discovered in 2019. Is that correct, Dr. Reich?
2019. That's right.
Yeah. All right.
Very late.
Oops.
Let's go to the next question.
That's everybody.
We've got some.
All right, so this is what the next question is going to be. What does corona in coronavirus mean? All right, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of note here. Some of the images here might be hints, but sometimes the images might be what we call red herrings. So they might not actually be the right answer, but just to let you know, sometimes
some ads are looking for the Corona beer, but it's not there, right?
No, I didn't put the Corona beer there. All right, so what does corona stand for in coronavirus? What does corona mean? What do you think? You were telling me what language is corona? Was it Latin?
A lot of medicine actually originates in the Latin language.
Okay.
So if you know anything about Latin or Spanish or Italian, you might have a clue as to what the answer is.
Even French. I think if you know French, because corona is very similar. There you go. I think there are some people out there that know French or they know Latin, right? Yep. So corona stands for crown.
Very good.
And why is it called the crown again?
Because when you look at it, you can actually, the coronavirus has a lot of spikes. Well, you all know that, but the spikes look like a little crown. So it looks like the virus is wearing it.
All right. So the next question is going to be, can you tell if somebody has COVID-19 just by looking at them? Sorry, here we go.
This is a tricky one, I think.
It is but it's a yes, no. All right. So if you look at somebody, can you tell if they have COVID-19 just by looking at them? What do you think? Yes or no? I don't know. This is a pretty tough one. Yeah. I think the thing is that like somebody might be sick, but do we know if they have corona? Can we tell that?
Or if they're not sick, can we tell that they're not contagious? Right.
Right. So that's the big question. So what do we think? Most people are saying
good for you guys. Well done. Really good. Yeah. At the clinic, we have to always, ask questions, but you're never 100% sure.
Right. All right. Here's our leaderboard. This is going to give us indication as to, wow, we have got, it looks like a pretty close race.
Christina's on fire.
Yes. Christina is on fire. I don't know if that is coincidence.
Yeah. Right.
That's interesting. All right. What causes COVID-19? So we're going to ask, what type of things do you think is the root cause of this COVID-19? All right. So what is the cause of COVID-19? What is it that's making people sick with this disease?
Too much candy.
A virus? Is it bacteria? Is it cell phones? Or is it chocolate? Now, I really hope it's not chocolate because I really, really love chocolate. And if it's chocolate and that means that I'm going to get sick from chocolate, then I will not be very happy about that.
Yeah.
It is a virus.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So
a couple of people who thought the 5G network caused it. That's okay.
A couple of people there. What's the difference between a virus and a bacterium?
it's a long answer, but bottom line is that a bacteria has all the machinery in it to make more of itself. All it needs is food.
Yeah.
A virus needs to hijack our cells to make more of itself.
Okay. And so viruses need humans to replicate.
Or a host. If it's
some sort of a cell.
Virus for monkeys, then it needs monkey cells. And if it's a human one, then it needs human cells.
All right. Okay. So this picture here says, how does COVID spread? I had to find pictures to for each of these questions. And so spread, spread, really I'm sorry. It was a bit of a stretch. I
went with that. I don't think it's a clue though.
Well, you know what? If you look at, we'll see the answers here.
Okay.
Because it might actually fit in there. So how does COVID spread? So take a look at your phone when we're done this question. We'll see the answers. So is it spread from droplets from your nose and mouth? Is it spread through drinking water? Is it spread through eating expired foods, or is it spread from not sleeping enough? And so the reason why I said this is kind of linked to the jam, I had to throw out a whole jar of jam this week because I went in there and it looked like it wasn't very good. So it smelled kind of funny. So expired food. I was inspired with my expired jam to make jam the spread.
Yes. Great.
And it is droplets from your mouth and nose. Yes.
Good stuff. Great. But not sleeping enough can make you more prone to getting viruses. That's actually a pretty good answer for all viruses.
Yeah, because your immune system is not working up to snuff there.
Exactly.
Kids can't get COVID-19. So this again is going to be one of our two answers. You got a choice between yes or no. So what do you think? Do you think kids are? I put a superhero picture there. So are kids immune? Do they have a shield up and they don't have to worry about getting sick?
Yeah.
What do we think? Is that true or false? One of the, actually relating to the whole not getting enough sleep thing, I found out that if your adrenaline is going really high as well too, that also will sort of suppress your immune system. So if you think you're getting cold and you're about to go skiing, not a good idea. So people know that kids can get sick.
We've got some really smart kids out there.
Yeah, kids can get sick with COVID. All right, so this is important, this question here. What can you do to protect yourself from COVID-19? Like, what are some things that you can do, right? What are some things that we can do that can stop us? And this is a little bit related to the question we had a couple before. So how do you protect yourself from COVID-19? Eating lots of oranges, wearing a mask and getting vaccinated, jumping up and down when somebody sneezes, or taking showers every day. I mean, the taking showers, like washing hands, keeping yourself clean.
Yeah, there's a connection there, but I think probably this one has a eating lots of oranges is always healthy, but is it going to stop it, right? Or reduce the chances of getting it. So this one is see, look, we've got really smart kids. I think this is going to come down to like who the fastest trigger finger is. Like,
I think so too, because almost everybody is getting the right answer here. So that is right. And so this is why I was saying it's sort of related to that other one where we were talking about the droplets. So the masks are preventing the droplets from being spread, right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
Oh,
very close.
Christina is still on fire in the lead.
That's right.
But apparently wasn't the fastest.
Coming up strong in second place.
I'm not liking the fact that somebody's named themselves Novel Coronavirus 2019. That's just
interesting. Yeah.
Although I like the Ninja Dragon Rainbow Unicorn. That's an awesome name. All right. So this is another yes, no, true, false question. If you've had COVID-19, you don't need to get vaccinated. All right. So what do we think the answer is to this one? I have a feeling that people are going to get this one right as well, too. So if you've already been sick with COVID-19, do you think you need to get vaccinated? I have luckily not been infected with coronavirus.
Good for you. A lot of people have with this Omicron variant. Yeah.
Oh, and
great job, everyone.
Everybody got.
Marissa, I think you made these questions way too easy.
Hey,
Or we just have a really smart kids.
I think we do. I think this is, I mean, part of this is that we're trying to reinforce learning here, right? We want people to feel successful, right?
Yep.
What makes the kids' COVID-19 vaccine special? What makes it different from the one that the adults or even the 12 to 17-year-olds are getting? So this is
the unicorn person should get this one right, because you put the unicorn there.
Yes, definitely. And it's related to one of the answers, right? So what makes the kids' COVID-19 vaccine special? 5 to 11-year-olds get a smaller dose. There's glitter in it. It smells like flowers, or it will make you win this quiz.
Give me another dose. I love the glitter in it one. That's cute.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we want to make it so that it's attractive, sure, why not? Although glitter just stays everywhere, right? If you have glitter on stuff, you can't get it out of anything. It's like cat hair; it's everywhere. You're right. I think this quiz is.
These kids are smart. That's what it is.
Yep. Fantastic. So yes, it has a smaller dose. Can you explain a little bit why it's a smaller dose?
Well, in fact, like what you're doing is you're actually just presenting a little piece of information into your cells that says, make the part of the virus that we make antibodies against. In other words, that we protect ourselves with. Instead of getting infected by the whole virus, we're telling the body, just make the piece that we get infected by. So kids are smaller, so they don't need as many of those to build antibodies against it. So, and in terms of side effects and things like that, you want to keep the dose smaller. So kids always, kids aspirin and kids Advil and things like that, they have lower doses.
Yeah. Well, and I also had listened to a podcast where they were explaining, it was a science podcast, and they were explaining that children have a more robust immune system than adults, and even as an adolescent. So my kids they're tweens, they're 12. Yep. Like you get into puberty, and then your immune system is not as active. And so you don't need as much when you're younger, because your immune system sort of primed to be very active. And so you need a smaller dose to get the same response. Right.
And then when you get older, like your grandma and grandpa with their kids, they'll need sometimes double the dose, because they're and that happens with flu shots as well, because their immune system's a little older, takes a little while to wake up, needs a little bit more activity to get going. So,
all right, we're going to move on. We've been talking a lot. All right, how long does it take for the vaccine to protect you from COVID-19? Right. So, after you've gotten your dose, after you've gotten your shot, how much time do you have to? How long before your body is able to sort of recognize the actual disease? Is it 2 hours? 14 days, so 2 weeks, 6 weeks, or 3 months? What do we think? You might have heard, as we've been talking about on the news and stuff like that. They usually, so this is different from how far apart you separate your two doses, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is more of like, how long does it take for your body to build up the antibodies
to a level that protects you? That's right. Look, beautiful.
Everybody. 14 days, 2 weeks. And I mean, it's not exactly that, but that's the rough time.
On average, yeah. That's exactly right. Good job, Larissa.
So 1 shot of vaccine is good enough to protect you from COVID-19. All right, so this is going to be our next question. True, false question. So what do you think? Do you think we just need 1 shot of COVID-19? And I have a feeling that most people know this answer as well, too, because it's been
I think you're right, Larissa.
Yeah. And from what I know about my vaccines and from my children getting vaccinated, it's very rare that we only get 1 vaccine. Is it? I mean, is there any? I mean, I guess the flu shot.
There are some, but you're right. Oftentimes you need a few, like at least 2 or sometimes more.
Yeah. I mean, would we say the flu shot is like, whenever we get a flu shot, is that 1 vaccine, or would we call that like an annual booster?
That's a good question. So it's 1 vaccine, but they change the presenting antigen. So they're changing it slightly every time, just like variants in a sense, right?
Right.
So it's a different variant every year, and they try and match it up.
Oh, let's see.
Can Christina hold the lead?
Oh, still Christina's still got the lead. And
Nine.
but like
And
so
9.
close. Look at this. We've got like 10,581 versus 10,572.
This is a true race.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
But McForte is fastest, which is interesting. Yep.
All right. So these are, again, you're going to take a look at these questions or these pictures. You'd be like, maybe these are some clues. What is your immune system? It's a part of your body that does something specific. So let's see. What do we think that our immune system does? And I have a feeling that most people are going to be able to answer this as well, too. So what does your immune system do in your body? What is its role? Does it defend you against germs? Does it help you breathe? Does it help you smell? Does it help you feel? And our immune system is an interesting one because it's basically our whole body, really.
It's everywhere. Right? Yeah. Absolutely.
And like our skin is actually part of our immune system, which
That's right.
People don't necessarily think about that because it's stopping things from physically entering into our bodies, right?
Yeah, and even in our nose, right on the surface. That was good. I'm glad everyone got that one right. Good job, everybody.
So this question was a question that we used on our advertising, right? So it said, what does your body make to stop viruses and other germs from making you too sick? So if you get viruses and germs in your body, what does your body make?
It makes avocados.
Well, so you'll see one of the answers is, I mean, it'd be interesting.
You never know. Maybe it does make avocados.
So does our body make antibiotics? Does our body make antibodies? Does it make atacocytes? Or does it make avocados?
I see what the avocado is there now. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to take the most absurd answers.
Absolutely. But you know what, strangely, I just got someone who sent me 2 pictures of avocados and showed me a Mexican avocado and another Latin. They look completely different.
They do.
Antibiotics tricked some people on that one. That's good.
So what is an antibiotic?
An antibiotic, remember, bacteria have the machinery within them to make more of themselves. Right. So an antibiotic is something that goes and messes with the machine that the bacteria uses to make more of itself.
Okay. So we can't use it against viruses.
No, because the viruses are using our bodies, remember, our cells to make more of itself. So that's why it's really hard to fight viruses, because they're actually using our machinery.
Right. And so the antibiotic's not going to work because you can't actually work it against our own cells. That wouldn't be very good.
Yep. We have to use our own systems and our own systems to fight it. Yeah.
All right. So this is a question about the ingredients that are in the COVID-19 vaccine. So which of the ingredients that you're going to see on your question, which is not part of the COVID-19?
Is glitter one of the answers?
Not in this case. No. So, but glitter is not in.
I think we can safely say glitter is not.
But so fats, salt, sugar, or live virus. So which of these do you think is not actually in the vaccine? This is an interesting thing.
Very.
Yeah. So some people sort of think that vaccines are this mysterious concoction and we don't necessarily know what's in it, but I think our players are pretty smart here.
Very smart. That was a really, really tough question for some kids and some parents, I'm sure.
It was a very tough question. So we're gonna go on to another question that's related to what's actually in there, right? So the COVID vaccine contains messenger RNA, right? So mRNA.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask our audience here, what is mRNA? So what do you think mRNA is?
And parents, you can help your kids on this one.
Yeah, we don't actually learn about this in school for a while. So is it a virus particle? Is it a cell? Is it blood? Or is it genetic material? So some of you might know what messenger RNA is, but this is one of those sort of more advanced grade 12 science. We learn a lot about messenger RNA and DNA.
Yeah, or just talking about it in class. Maybe you talk about it and stuff like that. So very good.
People know it is. So the other thing that could have been a little bit confusing is that these coronaviruses are RNA viruses, though, right?
That's right. Yeah. So you're just taking that little part of the message. Like they've got the whole instruction set inside of a virus to make more of it.
Yep.
We're just taking out that one little piece that we say make spike protein and protect against that. So when you see it for real, you'll attack it. So it's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the vaccine, it's not even from the virus. It's a like a reproduced copy that they made themselves in the lab, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
All right, so this is an important question because a lot of people are asking this as well too. Can mRNA vaccines change your DNA? And so you'll see in my picture here, this is the nucleus. It kind of got cut off a little bit, but the DNA is found inside of your nucleus, and messenger RNA does not go into the nucleus. So what do you think? Do you think that messenger RNA is capable of changing our DNA? And so DNA is the genetic material that's inside of all of our cells, almost all of our cells.
That's
Red
right.
blood cells don't have it, right? Or do they?
They do not, right? Mitochondria do have their own DNA.
Right.
But the thing what's interesting is that we are actually all have viral DNA in us. Over the millennia, there are thousands of years that hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years that we've been developing. We've picked up pieces of viral DNA in our DNA.
Yep. And everybody look, like almost everybody has
really smart kids.
We have got some amazing people in this.
Oh,
I didn't see this one. Lemon Chaos Crew. Ooh,
I think we're going to see a change in the direction.
No. Oh,
it takes the lead. Christina, close second. Ninja Dragon Rainbow Unicorn is the fastest on this one. So I think we're going to see a last ditch. Are we done, or we have more questions?
I think we have a few more questions.
Very close.
Yeah. What are some side effects of the vaccine? All right. So this is a good question here. What do we think some side effects are?
Interesting. You did bananas. Bananas have their own pandemic.
Oh, really?
TR4. Yeah. It's a fungal pandemic.
Interesting. So the reason is that I said, well, so some side effects of the vaccine is craving for bananas, maybe, I don't know, losing your hair, having a slight fever and aches, or not being able to play video games. So maybe this is why we're having like a little bit of a lower of an uptake with the children. I'm worried they won't be able to play video games.
Right. But when they get it, they can stay home for a couple of weeks, and I'm sure they're playing more video games.
Yes, for sure. Look at that. Yeah. Everybody knows. So one of the I did not react well to shots 2 and 3. I spent the day watching Netflix for both of those shots. All right. If you are allergic to foods like peanuts and milk, you cannot get the vaccine. So what do we think? This is going to be another true or false question. So what do we think? Are there people thinking that this is going to stop them from getting the vaccine?
There are some vaccines that are made with eggs, and people that were allergic to eggs couldn't take it. So maybe we'll see.
Well, that's because they used to replicate some vaccines, they use the eggs to replicate the virus, right? So can get enough copies of it into their vaccine doses.
That's right.
Look at this.
Smart.
We have very smart players today.
But you can't bring peanut butter sandwiches to school anymore.
No, that is true. My daughter can't bring red dye to school.
Oh, really?
So any of those candies that have red dye in them, which is a lot of candies. There's a lot of candies with red dye. All right. So the question is, you cannot get infected with COVID-19 once you've been vaccinated. So what do we think? Is this a true statement, or if this is a false statement? Because we think, right? So like if we've had the vaccine, right? We always say the vaccine gives us immunity. And when we think of immunity, we always think of immunity as meaning like there's a wall, right? It's not, we're good.
That's right. Good. Yeah. So a few people thought that maybe it was true, but even the vaccine itself is not 100%. So, and Omicron even more so. So it protects you against getting severe illness, right? And hospitalization.
Well, let's see. This is our last question. So this is our last question, and then we'll
talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Yes. So this is our last question. We'll see who the winner is after this last question, and then hopefully we'll see if we've got some answers. So what will COVID vaccines do? When you get the COVID vaccine, what does it do? Does it give you COVID-19? We already talked a little bit about this. Yeah. Does it cause you to lose your sense of taste? Does it make you magnetic and metal objects will stick to you? Or does it protect you from getting really, really sick from COVID-19? And I think Dr. Reich might have given the answer. So if anybody gets this wrong, you weren't listening.
You weren't listening, yeah. It's funny, actually. I watched some of those videos where the people would put the coins thinking that they were magnetic. Look at that. Excellent and excellent. 33.
Yeah. And so
let me come back to that magnet question, that magnet thing afterwards.
Okay.
Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it? Do you want to do it in a sec after this? We'll see who wins.
Well, so we're done. We're just going to figure out who the winner is first.
Okay.
But like I did want to say,
do its calculations. And so I got a funny story though, because I have some friends that got vaccinated, obviously, and he said, "Look, the coin is sticking." And I said, "Oh, come on, show me." So he showed, and sure enough, the coin was kind of sticking on the side, and it wasn't sticking on the other side. And I'm like, "Well, that makes no sense." So I tried a coin that was not magnetic,
right?
And it kind of stuck too. So it wasn't magnets, but there was definitely, like, it's almost like the area that got injected. It was almost like sweating a little bit in that area, almost like a reaction. So that's why coins sometimes, kind of get sticky, and people think, "Oh my God, they're injecting me with magnets."
Because you're all sweaty and sticky.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so a couple of people thought that the vaccine can give you the virus or can give you COVID-19, but that we already talked about the fact that the virus is not in there. So it is impossible for you to get COVID-19 from the vaccine.
Correct.
But you could possibly have been infected before you got the vaccine or at the same time that you got the vaccine. And so if you do end up with COVID-19 after being vaccinated, it wasn't from the vaccine.
And you can feel a little bit sick because your immune system is making it's protecting you. It's making your immune system prepare for the virus. So you might feel a little sick for a few days.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to see who the winner is. Who do you think, based off of the last thing? I don't know.
I think that McFadden was really putting on a
McFortin. Or let's see.
Ninja Dragon was doing.
This is so exciting. This is just super, super, super exciting. Let's see.
McFortin.
Oh, like came up.
Great job. Catherine did a great job. Tanya did a great job.
This is awesome.
Naman did a great job. Dragons did a great job. Good job to everyone for all your work on this. That was fantastic.
This is awesome. So whomever is McFortin, please take a screenshot of your winning screen on your phone, and then you can email your screenshot to us at the vaccines@sciencenorth.ca. And also just let us know if you would like swag or if you would like tickets to come to Science North. So I actually have another slide after this that has asking some questions. So if anybody wants to type their questions in here, you can, but you can also type some questions in the comments section here, because we're going to be here for a little bit of a Q&A. Just I know we went a little bit over time. We started a little bit later, but we're here for probably about 15 minutes to answer any questions. So if there's any questions that are coming in, then we would love to see some of these questions. Somebody wants to know what exactly is in the vaccine.
So, yeah. So, and what does nothing mean?
I think it just means somebody doesn't have a question.
Gotcha. Okay, so what exactly is in the vaccine? So in the vaccine think of it like the blueprints for part of the virus that your body finds objectionable and will try and protect itself against. And your body makes that part, and then when your body sees it, it says, "I'm going to make protective material or antibodies against that virus." So when you really see the virus come in and it sees those little spike proteins, it's ready for it. I sometimes use the analogy. I say, like, if an army is coming to fight you and you know what their shields look like, and you already know that, and you've prepared an army to kind of be able to penetrate through those shields, then your body will be better ready to fight the real thing. And that's what's in a vaccine.
And so I like to joke that I mean, I heard this from somebody else who basically said the ingredients in the vaccine is like salad dressing, right? So we had a list of those things that were down there, like fats and salts and sugar. So
right.
there are fats and there's salts and there's sugars. And then I think the Moderna vaccine actually has acetic acid, which is vinegar, which is like totally salad dressing, right? Like it's like, so but it's like, it's ingredients that we see all the time, right?
Your blood has salt in it, it has sugar in it, it has proteins and fats. So what you have to do is you have to, when they first were studying this, and they studied this kind of vaccine first with the Ebola virus in Africa and things like that, and they've been doing lots of studies. But one of the things that happened was when you put messenger RNA in the bloodstream, it's not supposed to be there, so your body breaks it down really fast. So it wasn't able to produce a reaction. So what they did is they actually put the mRNA inside little fat droplets. And so that makes it stick around long enough so that your body can recognize it, use it, make copies of the spike protein, and then protect you.
Somebody asked, why do vaccines hurt?
Well, because you're getting, like in terms of afterwards, when you get a needle,
Probably.
it hurts, right? Yeah. And then when I got my first vaccine, I had my lymph node under my arm got really, really swollen. And again, your body is recognizing that this is something that it needs to fight. And so it makes you feel sick sometimes, because believe it or not, the reason you get a fever is because your body makes white blood cells and antibodies better in a slightly higher temperature. So you get a fever to basically make your immune system work better. But obviously it's not perfect for kind of day to day, but in that time where it thinks it's getting an infection, it boosts the temperature slightly to make you better able to fight a virus.
It's like increasing your metabolism, so it makes things go faster.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, and then I guess the armpit thing is because you got lymph nodes in your armpits, right?
That's right. I think of lymph nodes as kind of like the army camp where you're kind of marshaling all your troops. Like when you sometimes you get a sore throat and you got a swollen lymph nodes in your neck. That's where your body is making the preparation to fight the infection.
Mm-hmm.
And you have lymph nodes all over your body.
Yes. And I mean, my mom's a nurse, and she used to always check for my glands. Like when I was not feeling well, she'd check she'd say, your glands, I'm checking your glands on your throat to make sure, like, because then she'd be like, if they're not swollen, you're not sick. So I couldn't fool her if I was not feeling well.
And my mom was
do you think the children are going to need a third dose?
I don't, like, what age group?
So I know they're thinking right now about the 12 to 17-year-olds. They're starting to talk about boosters for them, right? But what about the younger ones? Or like right now, we're just trying to get them too, right?
Exactly. Right now, we don't know, and that'll be monitored. Potentially by the time the kids get their second doses, because everybody started getting those shots at different times, right? There is rumor that there's going to be an Omicron booster. So it's like it'll be very suited towards the Omicron variant. Fingers crossed that things are getting better, and hopefully we don't see another variant. And even if we need it, then we'll just get it and we get the boosters because it keeps our antibody levels up higher, right? And that way, when the virus does come, you're still prepared. Because if the virus doesn't come and it takes too long, your body says, okay, army, you can go to sleep. We don't need to fight this as much anymore. And you just boost them again.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's a question, why does the vaccine make your body sore?
Mm-hmm.
So the temperature is one thing, but the other thing is we make lots of white blood cells inside of our bone marrow. So when you feel achy and sore, it's actually because your body, the pressure inside your bones is actually like you're making lots of white blood cells, which is actually putting some pressure on your bones. That's why you kind of get a little bit achy and sore.
So the swelling makes you achy and sore. Interesting.
Right. Yeah.
So we've got a question. Renata has asked, can I be less careful with protective measures if I've been vaccinated? So I think she's probably talking about social distance, like the physical distancing and the masking.
Yeah, it's really important that we do follow, the public health guidelines on that stuff. And the answer is you should continue wearing your mask. You should continue social distancing. And it's because you're not fully protected, right? We're as the quiz showed that you're definitely going to protect yourself against getting really sick or hospitalized. In Sudbury, in fact, the majority of the people that end up in ICU and having really bad outcomes are those that are unvaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so continue doing all those things, and slowly and steadily, I think over the coming months, we'll see that some of those precautions will be loosened, and hopefully we'll be able to get out and play soccer in the dome and play hockey and all the things that we love to do with our friends, right? So that's hopefully going to happen soon.
Yeah, so I mean, the vaccine doesn't put a shield in all the holes that are in our body, so that it stops the virus from coming in, right? So
right,
yeah, so we can still, yeah. But if we put an actual face mask on, then we're putting a shield on. I actually just saw a post from the CDC that says that masks work, right? So even cloth masks reduce your rate of positivity about 50%, surgical masks around 60%, and they said the N95 is like, I think it was like in the 90s. So it was really effective of being indoor, that people tested less people, like it reduced your possibility of testing positive if you were masked indoors.
That's right. Yeah, the viruses are like tiny, 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 and they can live in a droplet. The virus is like, I think 40 or 50 nanometers in size. So this very, very small droplets of water, it stays in the air, and it can get into your nose and in your eyes when you rub your eyes, or even just walking through where somebody else coughed.
And then we also have a question about getting other vaccines with the COVID. Can we get other vaccines at the same time as the COVID vaccine, or is that not recommended?
You can. The flu shots are fine. And there's some vaccines that are live attenuated vaccines, like measles, mumps, rubella, and things like that we tend to say don't. There's certain time variants that we watch, but getting the flu shot at this time of year is perfectly fine.
But I guess with kids, if they haven't had the COVID vaccine before, they want to make sure that whatever reaction they're having is just from the COVID vaccine. Is that maybe why?
Yeah, I'd probably say, yeah, keep the little ones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, what did we get? We got our flu vaccine at the beginning of the week back in November. And then my son, who's in grade 7, ended up getting like his school vaccines at the end of the week. And so that was okay because it was a flu vaccine. But I think with the COVID vaccine, you probably would have had to wait like 2 weeks to make sure that there wasn't a like co-react. Like they want to make sure that the reaction isn't from the flu vaccine and not the COVID, or like, because the COVID vaccine is newer, right?
Sure, it's a new vaccine, especially in kids. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to see on the thing that people filled out here. Somebody wanted to know why a saline solution is used for delivery and vaccine.
So your blood has lots of salt in it, believe it or not. It's very, like, that's why it has a bit of salt, bit of sugar, bit of fats. Like if you actually could spin down your blood and take out the blood and take out just the liquid, like and that's the only thing, it'd actually be saline. It'd be salt and water.
Mm-hmm.
We're bags of salt and water.
So we're just putting more salt and water in our bodies. So
you want to keep it. You want it. What's called, it's kind of a medical term, but it's called isotonic. You want to keep, because it would actually burn a lot if it didn't have the same salinity.
Interesting.
Like if you put, I don't know if you ever go to the beach and if you go and get those little salt things at the drugstore, it's saline. But if you put a little bit of like regular tap water up your nose, it would actually hurt a bit.
Yes. Or like, well, sometimes I find that even the salt, like if you go to the lake and you get water up your nose, it's not great. But like even the ocean, like if the ocean is saltier than your body, then it's still, yeah. Let's see. Oh, well, how about this is our last question. So somebody's asking, when do you think that the under 5 will be approved? So I guess we're still waiting for like even the younger ones to get their vaccine approved. Do we know what the status is for that?
You know what? I didn't look it up. I don't know where they stand with, I don't even know if they're doing studies in kids that young, but I suspect that they are. It's one of those things where the younger you are, the less likely it is you have reactions. It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, actually.
I think, I mean, again, I get a lot of my news from TikTok, which is it may be good or may not be good. But Washington Post does, they do some great things, and they were talking about how Pfizer is in the United States, at least, applying for emergency use in the United States for the younger groups. So for the under 5, they are applying for that.
So they're doing studies then. Okay.
So they are doing studies with it.
Yeah.
And I guess the way that it works with the studies is they start with the older cohort, and they were just gradually moving down with the age cohorts as they were doing it. So,
yeah.
And I just want to thank you for joining us for this trivia night.
It was lots of fun.
And if people, it looks like there's still some people, there might still be some people watching, hopefully. If you are still watching, if you can, there's a link through a survey, again, in our description. If you want to click there, please fill this out. We would like to know how you enjoyed our trivia thing and if it helped increase your confidence in vaccines. And again, as I said, if you have any other questions that you want to send to us at Science North, just send it to vaccines@sciencenorth.ca. We are working on this Give Vaccines a Shot campaign with lots of online content and infographics and TikToks and science explainers.
Is Science North open these days?
So Science North is open on the weekends, and we opened up last Friday on the 4th. So PD Day was our first day that we opened up. And
is there a COVID virus section in there anywhere giving people a little bit of information?
There is the virus of misinformation. It was in the lobby, and I'm not sure if it's still there because I haven't been in since we opened up, so I don't know if they moved it, but it was there. So we do have an exhibit called the virus of misinformation.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And Bruce, thanks for giving all those comments in the private in the chat area.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us, and hopefully this increased your confidence in vaccines, and you will go out and get your children vaccinated.
Great work, Larissa. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.